Ah, there you are. Look who finally figured it out. Hello, you beautiful mind readers, you psychic nightmares, you walking lie detectors who make everyone nervous just by existing. Welcome to the conversation they never wanted you to have, the one about that thing you do, that thing that makes their skin crawl. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? That moment when you look someone dead in the eye and know without a single word spoken, exactly what they're hiding. That split second when their mask slips, and you catch it, while everyone else is still applauding their performance. They've been calling you crazy, paranoid, oversensitive for years, haven't they? Telling you that you're imagining things, that you're reading too much into situations, that you need to relax and stop being so intense. But here's the thing about being right too many times, it stops being coincidence and starts being a pattern. And baby, you've been painting masterpieces with those patterns while they've been trying to convince you that you're colorblind. Let me tell you what's really happening here. You've got something they don't. Have something they can't fake, buy or steal no matter how hard they try. You've got that sixth sense, that intuition that cuts through their bullshit like a hot knife through butter. And it's not just that you can see through their lies. It's that you can feel their intentions before they even form them. You know what they're going to do before they do it. And that's what's driving them absolutely insane. Remember that time you called it? Remember when you told them exactly what was going to happen and they laughed? Called you dramatic, said you were overthinking everything. Then it happened exactly like you said it would, down to the last detail, and suddenly they weren't laughing anymore. Suddenly they were looking at you different, like you were dangerous, like you knew something you shouldn't know. And that's when the real games began. That's when they started trying to gaslight you into doubting your own gift. But let's go deeper into this, because this isn't just about being right a few times. This is about the pattern that's been playing out your whole life. You've always been the one who knew when someone was lying, even when everyone else was buying their story. You were the kid who could tell when the teacher was having a bad day before they even spoke. The teenager who knew which friends would betray you before they did it. And now you're the adult who can walk into a room and instantly know who's real and who's wearing a mask. They hate this about you. They hate it with every fiber of their being, because your existence threatens their entire game. See, most people operate on the assumption that their inner world is private, that their thoughts and intentions are safely locked away where no one can see them. But you're like a walking MRI machine for the soul, picking up on energy shifts, micro expressions, and subconscious tells that they don't even know they're broadcasting. You're reading the code while they think they're writing it. And the craziest part is, you're not even trying most of the time. It just happens automatically, like breathing. Someone walks up to you with a smile and a friendly greeting, but something in your gut screams danger. A person tells you they're fine, but you can feel the storm brewing under their skin. Someone promises you the world, but you already know they'll disappear in 3 weeks. And you're right. You're always fucking right, and it's making them lose their minds. This is why they've been trying to break you down, to make you doubt yourself, to convince you that this gift is actually a curse. They need you to be wrong. They need you to be just as blind as everyone else. Because if you're not, then what does that say about them? What does it mean that someone can see straight through their carefully constructed personas? their elaborate lies, their hidden agendas. It means they're not as clever as they thought they were, and that's a reality they can't accept. Now let's talk about what's really happening in their heads right now, because this is where it gets delicious. Every single person who's been playing games around you is starting to crack under the pressure of your perception. They can't relax anymore, can't just coast on their usual manipulations, because they know you're watching. Not watching with your eyes, but with something deeper, something that sees past the surface into the truth they're desperately trying to hide. You've become their walking nightmare, the embodiment of their worst fear, that someone might actually see who they really are. They're checking themselves constantly now, second-guessing every word, every gesture, every expression, because they know you'll catch the lie before it even fully forms. They're exhausted from trying to maintain their facade around you, drained from the constant vigilance required to keep their mask from slipping. And the beautiful irony is that their nervousness only makes them more transparent to you. Some of them have started avoiding you altogether, haven't they? Making excuses not to be around you, creating distance because your presence feels like standing under a spotlight that reveals every flaw. Others have gone the opposite route, trying to get closer to figure out your secret, to understand how you do what you do. But they can't crack the code because there is no code. It's just you being exactly who you've always been, someone who sees what others miss, feels what others ignore, knows what others deny. The trust issues they're developing aren't really about you, they're about themselves. They're realizing that if you can see through them, then maybe they're not as good at hiding as they thought. Maybe their secrets aren't as secret, their lies aren't as convincing, their manipulations aren't as subtle. You've become the mirror that shows them their true face, and they despise what they see. So instead of changing themselves, they try to break the mirror. But you can't break something that was forged in the fire of 1,000 deceptions. Let's get into the mechanics of this gift, because what you have isn't some mystical woo-woo nonsense, it's evolution in action. Your nervous system is picking up on microdata that others miss, processing thousands of tiny pieces of information in milliseconds, and delivering the conclusion to your consciousness as a feeling, a knowing, a certainty. While they're still trying to process the words coming out of someone's mouth, you've already analyzed their tone, body language, energy, signature, and the gap between what they're saying and what they mean. You're operating on a different frequency. Literally, your brain waves are firing in patterns that allow you to perceive what others can't. It's like everyone else is watching life in standard definition, while you're seeing it in 4K with surround sound and smell-o-vision. You catch the flutter of an eyelid that betrays anxiety, the slight shift in posture that signals deception, the change in breathing that reveals hidden excitement or fear. And you process all of this without even thinking about it. This is why you know things before they happen, why you can predict behavior with scary accuracy, why you can feel the emotional weather changing before the storm hits. You're not psychic in the supernatural sense. You're psychic in the most natural sense possible. You're using capacities of the human mind that most people have forgotten how to access. Abilities that got buried under layers of social conditioning and polite lies. But trauma has a way of waking up dormant abilities, and honey, your radar got activated by necessity. They want to know how you do it. They're desperate to understand your secret. But here's what they'll never grasp. You can't fake this. You can't learn it from a book, or a course, or a guru. This is something that gets carved into your neural pathways by lived experience, by having to survive among people who smiled while they plotted your downfall. Every betrayal sharpened your senses. Every lie taught you to read the truth. Every manipulation made you more impossible to manipulate. Now here's where things get really interesting, because once people realize they can't hide from you, the entire power dynamic shifts. They start doing this dance around you, this careful choreography designed to keep you at arm's length while still trying to benefit from your presence. They want your insights when it suits them, want you to use your gift to help them see what they're missing. But they don't want you to turn that penetrating gaze on them. They want a tame psychic, not a wild one. But you can't turn it off, can you? Can't just decide to not see what you see, not know what you know. It's like asking someone to selectively go blind only when looking at certain people. Your perception doesn't come with an off switch. It doesn't care about social niceties or making others comfortable. You see what you see, and what you see is usually the truth they're working overtime to conceal. And that makes you dangerous, not because you would hurt them, but because you could expose them. Some of them have started testing you, throwing out fake stories to see if you'll catch the lie, presenting false emotions to see if you'll call them out. They're treating you like a carnival attraction, trying to figure out the trick behind your ability. But every test only confirms what they fear, that you really can see through them, that you really do know what they're thinking, feeling, planning. And with each confirmation, their paranoia grows, their trust issues deepen, their masks get heavier. The smart ones have figured out that the best strategy is simply to be real around you, to drop the act and show up as themselves. But here's the plot twist. Most of them don't even know who that is anymore. They've been performing for so long, wearing masks for so many years, that they've forgotten their own face. So when they try to be authentic around you, it comes off as just another performance, and you can feel the effort behind it, the strain of trying to remember who they used to be. This is usually when the isolation tactics begin, when they realize they can't fool you, can't control you, can't figure you out. They start creating distance, but not the obvious kind. No, they're smarter than that. They create emotional distance while maintaining physical proximity. Professional distance while pretending personal closeness. They include you just enough to avoid suspicion, but exclude you from anything that matters, anything real, anything that might require them to be vulnerable. You've noticed this, haven't you? The way conversations shift when you enter the room. The way certain topics suddenly become off limits. The way they share their secrets with everyone but you. They'll tell you it's because they don't want to burden you, or because they value your friendship too much to complicate it. But you know the truth. They're terrified of what you'll see if they let you get too close. Scared of what you'll know without them having to say it. Some of them have started creating elaborate stories about you to explain away your ability. They tell others, you're too sensitive, too intense, too much in your head. They need to pathologize your gift, because acknowledging it as real would mean acknowledging that they're not as in control as they pretend to be. So they paint you as the problem. The one who creates drama by seeing things that aren't there, even though their reaction proves that everything you see is absolutely there. But here's what they don't understand. Their attempts to isolate you only make you stronger. Every time they exclude you, you get better at reading the room from the outside. Every time they lie about you, you get better at recognizing the patterns of deception. Every time they try to gaslight you into doubting your perception, you get more confident in trusting it. They're not weakening you, they're training you, turning you into an even more precise instrument of truth detection. Now we've reached the point where things start to fall apart for them, where their carefully constructed realities begin to crack under the pressure of your knowing. Because here's the thing about living a lie. It requires constant maintenance, constant energy, constant vigilance. And being around someone who sees through it all makes that maintenance exhausting, eventually impossible. They're starting to slip up more, make mistakes, show their true colors, not because they want to, but because they can't keep up the act anymore. You're watching it happen in real time, aren't you? Seeing them unravel thread by thread. The confident ones are showing cracks of insecurity. The kind ones are revealing their hidden cruelty. The successful ones are exposing their desperate emptiness. And they know you're watching, know you're cataloging every inconsistency, every contradiction, every moment where their mask slips and their real face shows through. They're becoming paranoid about your very existence, about what you might be thinking, seeing, knowing. Some of them have started preemptively explaining themselves to you, offering justifications for things you haven't even questioned yet. They're telling on themselves, constantly providing information you didn't ask for because they're so worried about what you might have already figured out. They're confessing to crimes you didn't know they committed, apologizing for thoughts they think you've read, explaining motivations they assume you've decoded. And in doing so, they're revealing more than your intuition ever could have shown you. The ones who used to be master manipulators are finding their skills useless against you, their usual tactics falling flat. They can't love bomb you because you see the agenda behind it. Can't gaslight you because you trust your perception more than their words. Can't triangulate you because you understand the game. They're used to people who operate on the surface level, who take things at face value, who believe what they're told. But you operate from the depths. And that makes their shallow tactics not just ineffective, but laughable. What's really breaking them, though, is the mirror effect, because being around you forces them to see themselves clearly, maybe for the first time ever. Your presence acts like a truth serum, not because you're doing anything special, but because your awareness makes them aware of themselves. They start noticing their own lies as they tell them, feeling their own manipulations as they attempt them, recognizing their own patterns as they play them out. You've become their involuntary consciousness, their unwanted self-awareness. They're starting to catch themselves mid-lie now, stopping halfway through a manipulation because they can feel you seeing it. Some of them have actually started changing their behavior. Not because they want to be better people, but because they can't stand the feeling of being so transparent. They're editing themselves in real time, trying to become people you can't see through, but that's like trying to become invisible by closing your eyes. The more they try to hide, the more obvious they become. The trust issues they're developing are spreading beyond just their interactions with you. They're starting to wonder if other people can see what you see, if they've been transparent all along and just didn't know it. They're becoming paranoid about everyone questioning every interaction, doubting every relationship. You've planted a seed of doubt that's growing into a forest of insecurity. They can't trust themselves anymore because they know you see their self-deceptions, and that means those deceptions might be visible to others too. And here's the delicious irony. They're right to be paranoid, because once people start operating from truth instead of pretense, others do notice. Their friends are starting to pick up on the changes, the nervousness, the sudden self-consciousness. People are asking them what's wrong, why they seem different, what's bothering them, and they can't explain that it's you, that your very existence has made them question everything about how they move through the world. So they make up other reasons, but those lies feel hollow now, because they know at least one person can see through them. Let's talk about the weight of this gift, because it's not all victory laps and vindication, is it? Knowing what you know, seeing what you see, feeling what you feel, it's heavy. You never asked to be anyone's walking lie detector, never signed up to be the truth that makes people uncomfortable. Sometimes you wish you could turn it off, just be blissfully ignorant like everyone else. But that's not your path. And deep down you know you wouldn't trade this clarity for their comfortable blindness. You've probably tried to dim it down, haven't you? Tried to pretend you don't see what you see, don't know what you know. You've smiled and nodded when people fed you obvious lies, bitten your tongue when you wanted to call out the deception, played dumb when you knew exactly what was happening. But it never works, does it? Because your energy speaks louder than your silence. People can feel that, you know, even when you don't say it. And that's what really disturbs them. The thing about having this level of perception is that it comes with responsibility. Not to them, but to yourself. You have to decide every day how to use this gift, whether to speak up or stay silent, whether to reveal what you know or let them think they're fooling you. It's a constant calculus of cost and benefit, weighing the value of truth against the price of peace. And sometimes the price feels too high. Sometimes you wonder if ignorance really would be bliss. But then you remember all the times this gift saved you, all the situations you avoided because you knew better, all the people you didn't trust who later showed their true colors. You remember that this ability isn't a curse, it's armor. It's what's kept you safe in a world full of people who smile while sharpening knives. Your sixth sense isn't giving them trust issues. It's protecting you from becoming another casualty of their deception.